The new 2011 U.S. Open champion didn't surprise anyone, but it did quiet everyone.
Settle in as we rewind the week with the latest edition of Monday Backspin from PGA TOUR.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Backspin. I'm Amanda Balionis. I talked about it earlier this week during PGA Tour Today, how Rory McIlroy, in addition to handling the pressure of being in the lead all week, had to handle all of the media asking him endless amounts of questions about handing away the Masters earlier this year. He answered every single question with grace, humility, and maybe most impressively without even a hint of annoyance, all at the same time while staying focused on his goal at hand, which was to win his first major championship. It would probably be easier to list what records the Northern Irishman didn't break this week, as he set or tied 12 U.S. Open records, including setting the 36-hole record, then the 54-hole record, and finally the overall scoring record. McIlroy also became the youngest player to win the U.S. Open since Bobby Jones in 1921. Only Tiger Woods, winning the 1997 Masters, was younger than McIlroy in all of the major championships. So how did the Northern Irishman maintain his focus all week? Simple, by maintaining an everyday schedule. After the 22-year-old broke the 36-hole record at the U.S. Open, he went out to the movies with his friends and family to see Hangover 2. After breaking the 54-hole record, he went out to dinner with Lee Westwood and his dad. McIlroy also said that in addition to keeping a pretty regular schedule, that he needed to play without so much emotion, at least until the final putt.
Happy Father's Day. Thanks.
The legendary performance broke down something like this. 4 consecutive rounds in the 60s, leading the field in greens and regulation, hitting 86% of his greens, led the field in birdies with 19, and of course became the quickest player in U.S. Open history to get to double digits under par, taking only 26 holes. This is, hands down, one of the most notable performances in the United States Open Championship. 2010 U.S. Open champion Graham McDowell said last year the odds of another Northern Irishman winning the U.S. Open title was kind of like the odds of winning the lottery. The nation is just so small with just under 5 million people, but they may have one more, as Luke Donald jokingly said that he may have to move to Northern Ireland to win his first major, while Rory McIlroy in his acceptance speech talked about the possibility of playing in the U.S. more after this win. We'd love to have you here, Rory. For more on what's going on just outside of Washington, D.C., let's throw it out to Doug Bell of the PGA Tour Network.
As I look back at the 111th U.S. Open, so many things come to mind, especially earlier in the week when Ken Venturi, the winner of the 1964 Open here at Congressional, held his press conference, and he said it clearly defined who he was for the rest of his life. And I think the same can be said for this year's winner. Of course, when you're talking about the U.S. Open, you're talking about stories. This is the only major championship that you and I can play in, that is if we qualify. And I remember the story of 36-year-old Steve Irwin from Denver, Colorado. Played in his first United States Open, and his father followed him the first 2 days outside the ropes. His dad just happens to be 3-time U.S. Open champ, Hale Irwin. Yes, it's all about stories at the U.S. Open. Can't wait till next year.
Thanks, Doug. Next up, we're heading to Cromwell, Connecticut for the Travelers Championship, which means our live at crew is back in action, ready to bring you coverage all day, every day, starting on Thursday. I'll be on site giving live out reports, so be sure to tune in to PGA TOUR.com.